Yeah, hello to the world and welcome to my first anime related video. My name is Tsuneo Mai and I want to start the channel Minukumono. Now, the goal of this channel would mainly be to rank ongoing animes. Now, why do I want to do this? It's mainly because there is a lot of anime content obviously on YouTube, but most of it is more like, oh, the best 10 comedy video animes, the best 25 fighting animes, and so on and so on. So I don't want to do content like this. And I thought long time about this, how I could, because anime is a big passion of me. I watched a lot of anime, and how I could turn this into something to share with the world or just to interact with others. And I hope, or I think there are a lot of people that are like me, that saw most of the big names like Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece, to name the big three, and also found their niche animes they like. And now they are just left with no idea what to watch next, right? So often you get recommendation from friends, but if you watch more anime than then, your chance that they actually recommend you one that you have not seen or have you not checked out and disliked or whatever is pretty slim. So my goal of this channel is to give you a first impression, and then over with 5 week pause in between how they develop over time, just so you can check out if you want to give this anime a chance, or to see if I reacted similar to this anime, and then share your reaction in the comments if you had a similar experience with it. I would be delighted to find people interacting with me like that, or just to maybe inspire you to give a new anime a chance that you didn't know about, and then you saw this video and were like, oh yeah, sure, I will check it out. Just know, ongoing animes are sometimes pain because you have to wait a week for the new episode. But that's exactly why I think ranking them makes sense. And yeah, sure, there's pages like My Anime List or Crunchyroll that where you can see a star ranking. However, I feel like a star ranking doesn't really tell me if I want to see an anime or not. So that's why I made this tier list myself, and I broke it down into different categories. Now, this first video will be longer than the future ones, because it makes no sense to make a 30-minute video about an anime that in this time you could just watch an episode of it and decide yourself if you like it or not. So just the first video will be a bit longer, because I would like to introduce myself and tell you why I do this, and to explain the whole system, right? For example, the categories are not totally separate. They are always interacting with each other and intertwined. For example, you can't have a good build-up. Build-up is also like tension. Do I want to see the next episode? How much does it hook me? If you have no emotional attachment, or if you have a world and story that do not immerse the watcher, then the build-up will probably also not be that great. So they are correlated, and just keep that in mind when looking at my ratings. Also, my goal is not to pitch the animes against each other. It's really just purely my first reaction, first impression to the anime first, just to will this be worth looking. And as a side note, I don't read mangaka or manga rather, because I read mostly fantasy if I have time to read a book. So all my reactions will be without previous knowledge. I also don't listen to light novels. And so when I do react to a new anime like this, I have no clue about the story, and you might read the manga and you might already know. So you are free to let me know if my prediction is totally wrong in certain areas. And the other thing is, after this tier list segment, there will always be a second segment that you can skip if you don't have the time, where I will go more into details of what are the things that stood out in the episode or the anime especially when I talk about seiyus, the voice actors, because that's a big passion of mine. I really admire the art of giving a character life by adjusting your voice to his personality and his feeling and emotions. So that's one of my big focus for or reason to make those videos. That's, by the way, also why when I drop an icon, there will be a seiyu saying something in the future. Right now, because I coded this tier list myself, there was no tier list like this, so I had to make it myself with AI. So right now it's just sample sizes of myself that I try to sound like actual seiyus here, and maybe you think it's cringe or maybe you think it's kind of funny, so please let me know in the comments what your thoughts are about this. And in general, feedback is always very welcome so I can improve the quality of my videos. If it's like, bro, talk less, make it shorter, yes, I agree already now, but it's really the first video. I'm by no means a professional YouTuber, and I really wanted to know what the goal of my videos will be in the future, because I plan to make many of those videos, and so I can just reference this video if someone asks me why I do this or whatever. So now in the second segment, there are also subjects that we do not have in the first one, like, for example, character, chemistry, animation, creativity, and dialogues. The thing is, I don't want animation just to be an icon I drag on here. The music was also, I don't sure, maybe we move this to the second panel, because some smaller studios just do not have the funds for amazing music or amazing animations, and I don't just want to rank them D tier and like diss them in this way. And I also don't want to diss any voice actor by ranking the anime low on the voice acting, because it should be a positive video series, and I will just focus on positive things that stand out in the second segment, instead of saying, ew, that was bad. I don't want to do that. That's on the other side, if I think a story or emotional attachment is not there, that's less personal, and it's a critique I'm willing to give a show that I watch, because I can just say like, yeah, it was kind of okay, but I just didn't connect with it. So without further ado, let's start my first impression of my status as an assassin obviously exceeds the heroes. So just to let them know, I fell in love with that anime on first sight. It really had solo leveling vibes, and we come to that more in the second segment. But just so you know, from the get-go, I think this will be definitely a super cool, very good anime. Anyway, the world tier, however, the world is nothing special. It is kind of generic isekai with different races. There is beast folk, elves, demons, and humans, and other than that we have no idea. Everyone has a continent, that's all we know. Are they at peace, are they at war? We have no clue. So it's pretty generic. I wouldn't say the world building is very creative, so we just rank it C. Now it takes a while until the sound plays. I will have to adjust this. It's really, like I said, the sample sounds. Keep that in mind. Next, the story. The story is, you could say it's similar, right? It's an isekai, so it has those generic elements. We are in the normal world, and then something happens, and we go to a different universe, and there we get some kind of powers. Though they admit that themselves, because the characters know about isekai and talk about it, and then they land in one and they're like, oh okay, I need information. So the build-up of the story is actually, compared to all the isekais I have seen, it is on a higher level. It definitely is. Like Slime Dataken was one of the first ones, if I'm not totally correct. There were in the past, but they were not categorized as isekai, like the prince that fell into the toilet kind of thing. And that's a variation one. And So I would say the story here, I liked it a lot. It's just first impression. This time it's 2 episodes because I'm a bit behind. I just had this idea and I made the log and everything and I started to make an intro. So I'm behind. So I watched 2 episodes for this first impression. In the future it will just be the first episode. But I want to be honest and authentic about it. So yes. Yeah, that one we have to crop a little also, but I think that one is not hard to guess. Then we have the emotion. Now, the character is more Lelouch style, the main character, Akira. So he's not very emotional himself, but I think the way he bonds with Commander Saran is really nicely done, and I also think that's why we get the attachment to this character, especially because he's a very intellectual person. I connect with him on that level. Not saying I'm super intellectual, but it's just like I do think a lot. Not all of it is smart, And so I for myself connected very well with the characters. Also, the hero was kind of generic at first, but he played this role really good. Kudo here for the voice actor in advance. So Shinra Tensei. Now, when it comes to speed, according to or compared, I said I don't want to pitch it against other animes, but the impression obviously is in the different areas, right? From the speed, I would totally instantly rank it S tier because it was perfect. Like, I don't know, they didn't spend a lot of time on maybe I can do this and do that. No, they just had status, and then they saw their skills, and he also noticed from the beginning that he is quite strong, and the flow and speed was really cool. And then still they took the time to like build this friendship, father-son relationship with Commander Saran, but also there they made it in a smart way where we don't have too long dragged out dialogues, but it was really the essential thing. Can I trust this guy? Okay, because of this and that, I will put my trust in him. And then there's this scene where they give each other the hand. So really amazed by that. Really well done. Then the predictability, so far it's kind of high. If the predictability is high, we rank it lower. If I have no clue what happens, we rank it higher. There was one, I would actually put it in C tier, but there was one event in episode 2 that kind of took me by surprise. I didn't see that coming, so we put it in B tier. But they can do better. I think in the future, the development of the predictability will go way more to S tier, I hope, and surprise us as viewers more. Then we have comedy. It didn't really try to be funny, so maybe that's even a D tier. There was, however, one scene in episode 2, and one scene in one episode is actually in the beginning pretty much, if overall this will stay the only one, it will go down to D tier. If we will have many such situations, obviously it will go up. It's only the first impression. So first impression is also C tier. Because the way they introduce the female character, main protagonist is very, or I think she will be the main protagonist, because she was like, oh no, I'm totally fine, and then she fainted, right? And that for me, that was pretty funny. So the build up, as I said, it correlates a lot with those 3 categories, and here it was amazing. I just wanted to know, it really had those solo leveling vibes. If you wanted to know how it goes on, the story catched you, you were emotionally attached, the speed was amazing. So yes, the build up is also amazing. I want to know the next episode. Now, music is also one of those I said we could put in the second thing, but maybe we just rate Ost and the intros and outro music. I'm not sure about this yet, since it's the first video I make. I would say the outro was really nice, but all in all, I would just put it in B tier. For me, typical S tier would be Bleach. The music, I still listen to those songs. They are very neutral and nice. Or the one song from Code Geass, or Tsubasa Chronicles had insanely good music for my tastes. And also Fairy Tail, of course, would be S tier. So I didn't hear anything yet on that level. I just thought like, oh, the outro is actually pretty nice. Yes. So that's that. And this already concludes the tier list segment. So we have here Assassin, bigger than hero, and we can save it. And I implemented that in the code because obviously in 5 weeks we need to get this one again, and I don't always want to drag in the icons again. So we can just load that one and then doing the after 5 week segments. So as you see, it is, you think like I put many icons down here, but still it's, I think, one of the better animes that will come out, and this is just the first impression. I think a lot of them will change upwards. Now we come to the second segment. So first, the dialogues, I think they were pretty deep and nicely done, because we have a very smart intellectual protagonist. So he comes there and is like, oh, something feels wrong, I need more information about this. They could not be the nice guys, right? Because there's no guarantee. And obviously they were not the nice guys. That's why predictability is not higher. And but we don't know yet what they actually plan and how they plan or why they plan it. So that's why the build up and the tension is still S tier, because we kind of want to know. They hooked me at least. And he also instantly goes to the interesting places. He follows the king, he goes to the princess, he goes into the archives where they don't want him to be. So that's why the speed has the S tier here. And I also like the, as I said before, the chemistry between Commander Saran and Akira, because they connect on a very emotional, kind of father-son level, but also on a knowledge level where he just enjoys, he just sees that he is special and that he has another way of thinking than the other, and that's why he wants to focus on him. Also, he is like the guy that sees that the kingdom is in some kind of danger, and he kind of is on the side of the heroes that arrive here because he sees potential allies in them. And also at the beginning they distrust each other a little, but the way they actually be truthful with each other and then build trust like that, I really like this interaction. So when we are at this, we can also go to the Seiyu, because Commander Saran, I heard that instantly is spoken by the Seiyu from Yami, Archer in Fate Stay Night, Yami's from Black Clover, Shota from Boku no Hero, Grimcho from Bleach, and Undertaker from Kuroshitsuji. So he's really one of my favorite seiyus, and he did a great job. To his emotional impact in the first 2 episodes was definitely intended, and it was a great success, if you ask me. Studio Sunrise made the anime, and their strategy using Yami Seiyu here, I have to look up his name, I don't know it by heart, was a really good choice here. We can actually do it quick. It is Suwabe Junichi, yeah? Okay. Yes, he did a really amazing job. So then we have the other seiyus that I really liked. Is actually the one from the hero. He is very unknown. I also have to check his name here again. Morinaga Ayado, he did a very good job, I think. He will be probably a side character, we don't know yet, it's only 2 episodes, but I don't think he will have a very high impact. But he played the role very good, and also the despair when he got cursed was well done. So I really liked this interaction also between Akira and the hero. It wasn't like often the hero is like the loser and whatever, but here it was like he could still become an interesting ally in the future, because Akira clearly saved his life there and helped him get rid of the curse, or to try to get rid of the curse at least. And so especially all the classmates have some depth, even though it's just two episodes. We also have the other classmate of him, the Asahina Kyosuke, and it's spoken by Mizunaka Misaki. It's also a pretty unknown voice actor, but he has history with Akira in the real world, in our world. So we only got that connection hinted, that they actually connected outside of work, and he actually discovered Akira's secret and kept quiet about it. And also he was among the people that got freed by Commander Saran from the curse and left the capital. So that was kind of good. The other seems to be under the control of the princess by now, and will rather be enemies than allies for Akira. So that's also points why I think the story is really different and has different more layers than in the other isekai animes, because they all come from the same world and they kind of interact differently with the main character so far, because for the most he's kind of the unknown factor, right? Because he tried to hide his presence as much as possible. Then we have the main character, the Akira. He's voiced by Takeo Otsuka, and I mainly know him from as Kunato from Mononogatari, and there he did a terrific job, I think. And also here I like him a lot so far. He brings over this intellectual, calm personality very good, and in fights it's kind of cool. Now that concludes the segment about seiyus. The others we can't really say much about yet, and yeah, because we don't know. So next we go to the animations. That was what I fell instantly in love with. They start the anime also very smart by them to start the anime with a fight to show, hey, we know how to do animations, and they do exactly that. It's you have no clue what's happening. There's just the silent assassin and some other assassin, and they fight on the rooftop, and the animations are so top notch. They are clean, they are smooth, they are really fast, but they show every detail of the movement, so you can actually follow it. They have time loop effects with rain and everything. It really amazed me a lot. So definitely that's one of the main reasons why I think this anime is on solo level or niveau, however you want to call it, because it could really become one of the great animes, because the animations are on such a different level. And then I was like, oh, who made this? This is really looking cool. And I checked it up, and it was Studio Sunrise, the ones who made also Code Geass and other famous animes out there. So Code Geass is one of my all-time favorites, so no wonder I liked it. Also the style of the characters, once I read it, was like, yeah, okay, yeah, it is similar. I can see why now, because it's Studio Sunrise. Another thing I want to point out is fashion. Normally I'm not much of a fashion guy, but I have to say in this anime it just fits somehow. They look kind of cool. Also the female protagonist, if she comes in or is introduced to the story, and in the outro we see more of her fashion. It looks nice. It is interesting. Her voice actress is actually Mizuno Saku. She is pretty unknown though. She plays Yamada Ryu in Bocchi the Rock. By the way, that's a secret recommendation for me. That's not the plan of the video, but Bocchi the Rock is really a cool anime. Give it a try. So I feel this could be an anime where we will have a very beautiful romance. It's just a feeling. As I said, I didn't read the manga and I have no clue. But if you ask me, I feel like this could be one of the interesting romances, just because of the seiyus and their chemistry so far, which was only short in episode 2, right? So it's very a guess from me, but I feel like this could be the anime that has amazing fights and has an interesting romance. So because in a few seconds she managed to be interesting, cute, a bit mysterious. Oh, she's an elf. Oh, she's a princess, and oh, she actually just played as if being asleep to see his reaction, and then looked at him, and her look was like, oh yeah, he's one of the good guys. I can really sleep, and I'm happy he helped me. So and then the one line, I'm so warm despite I am on a cold stone floor, that as well plays into the dialogues. It's very impactful. I think it's well written from the mangaka. Yeah, so I think that concludes it. Did we creativity? Creativity, yes, kind of. I mean, in the isekai genre, it is creative because the ones who summon them are actually the bad guys. There is like one or two other that do that, and then there's this queen that wants to kill the main character, and he gets sent into this dungeon and then becomes super strong, but I forgot the name of that one. So yeah, they are more on the creative layer there. Other than that, it's mainly the way they write the story and by the dialogues that makes it creative in my view, because the setting is in itself quite generic, but then by skipping the generic parts and be like they are like themselves, like, oh yeah, actually, oh, this is an isekai, oh yeah, so I have skill, oh okay, and then oh, I can grow the skills like this, and I can gain level like that, and it's really fast. So I really like that, and for me that's part of the creativity, to kind of, okay, we take the setting but we kind of skip the setting and don't drag it out too much. That's kind of one of the genius things they do, that surprised me a little bit. I didn't expect much when I saw the title. I was just like, okay, this is another isekai, but then I was like, wow, okay, this one could be very different. Also, the creativity aspect for me they gain when he uses his world eye, or however it's called. Because if you pause in this frame there, which I obviously did, and you see all those red bubbles, and in many of them you see some of his classmates that are getting stabbed or murdered, but he doesn't, at this point, he doesn't react to this at all. He just says, oh, this is way too dangerous, and stops the ability. But this hints us that he can see the future, has some sort of clairvoyance, and this could be really interesting how it develops, how they actually let him use that power, or if it's not really usable and he can only see possible futures when he does not act upon it, or how they do Can I Change the Future team, how they play that into the anime on top of the isekai. That is very interesting. I think it has a lot of potential. Also, the main character's power is strong, but he's not. I think he's also weak in between. Like when he uses his dark powers, it drains him, and then he is obviously vulnerable for attacks. And yeah, that's kind of concludes my first impression. I hope you enjoyed this first video, and I wish you to have a lovely day or evening, whatever time it is where you are watching this. And please just let me know how helpful this video was, or if you like content like this. Thanks for watching and have a nice one. Bye.